Welcome to today's video. We're doing our March wrap-up, which I haven't done a wrap-up in, I don't think, months. Like, it's probably been over a year since I did a wrap-up, just because I never read enough books for a wrap-up to make sense. I would just read like 4 or 5 books. There's no point me doing a wrap-up on 4 or 5 books. This month, however, I think I read 9 books, which is, I think, my best reading month ever. Like, I don't think I've ever read 9 books in 1 month, so well done me. I think the reason for so much reading this month was I was filming reading vlogs every week. There was 1 week where the reading vlog didn't see the light of day, but that's okay, because you know what, it was a bad reading vlog, so I didn't post it. And then the other 2 reading vlogs, maybe 3, the way I can't remember one of the reading vlogs I did, but anyways, it kept me reading, it kept me out of a slump. I also think I picked good books. I think I'm getting better with my reading taste, so I was able to pick books that I really thought I would enjoy, and I did. No 5 stars, but I have a 5-star prediction in my head for April. It's Abby Jimenez's new book and I'm so excited about it, so we'll see if that's a 5-star. Okay, starting off at the beginning of the month, I read Dear Debbie by Freida McFadden. This is her newest release, I believe, and I didn't like it. I rated this one at 2 stars. You basically follow Debbie, and she is, I don't know what you would call it, but she has this like website where people can like send in their like dilemmas or like advice about their husbands or whatever, and then she would give advice. Her advice was very strange. It would be like, oh, you could do this, or you could just like kill your husband, basically. It was what she was saying. And then you follow her like just in her day-to-day life, and her husband's kind of weird. One of her kids is really rude to her. She kind of just is existing, and anyone that does her a little bit wrong, they could literally just accidentally walk in front of her. That didn't happen in the book, but just an example, she would seek revenge. She wanted revenge on anyone and anyone she could get revenge on, and it was kind of crazy. I usually do like Freida McFadden's books, and even if I'm not enjoying the storyline or the characters or the plot, it's really easy for me to get through. Like, I'm still guessing, but for this one I just felt like I wasn't guessing. I didn't really care about anything. There wasn't really a mystery to it. There was a little bit, but I don't think I really cared, so I didn't feel like there was a mystery. So 2 stars. And I feel like the more Freida McFadden books that come out, the more I don't like them. I feel like at the beginning, The Housemaid, Never Lie, The Inmate, Ward D, one by one, like they were all my favourites at the beginning. I think now, I think I also just read so many books that like I am a bit more picky with my reading, so 2 stars. Then I read King of Sloth by Anna Hong. I actually read this for a reading blog. That's the reading blog didn't go up. I just didn't like the way I was doing the reading blog, so this one just wasn't talked about. This one's actually signed. I went to her book signing. I feel like authors don't really come here, but I did go to her book signing when this book came out and it's signed. This book follows Xavier and Sloane, and I honestly couldn't even tell you what it's about. I can't remember. Oh, I think I can't remember what I think it's about. Is he has to take over he's become CEO of his father's business, because that's in his father's will, and he won't get whatever if he doesn't do that. And then Sloane is his client. I don't really know how that works. I don't know what they're going on. I can't really remember. But he doesn't want to be CEO of his father's company, so Sloane kind of helps him to kind of figure out a way around it, and I don't know. I can't remember. I think I gave it a 3 stars. It is definitely my favourite. Is it my favourite though? Yeah, I gave it a 3 stars. I don't know if it is my favourite in the series. I thought it was when I was reading it. I think I was really enjoying it while I'm reading, but now that I've read it, I can't remember a single thing about it. I remember bits of it like towards the end. But the 3rd one in the series might actually be my favourite. This is the 4th, so that is it. I don't have much to say because I actually don't really remember much about the book at all, but I did enjoy it at the time of reading. Then I read Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. This is one of my favourite books of the month. I gave this one a 4.25 stars. These 2 follow our 2 main characters, and they have just gone through a divorce. They have kids together, they have a business together, and you kind of watch them trying to deal with co-parenting, but also running a business together, and them trying to move on from each other, but also keep being drawn back to each other and can't move on from each other. And it's so good. The characters in this book feel so real, and it doesn't feel like I was reading a fiction book. Like, this is something that could definitely happen in real life. I feel like it was so nice and refreshing to not just read a romance where it follows the same kind of, you know, they meet, they're together, they're whatever they're doing, 3rd act breakup, back together. Like, to see a couple that went through so much together, and then them finding their way back to each other, them trying to work everything out while also trying to give each other space. And this is the first book in a trilogy. There's 2 other books that are already out. So then I read Hopeless by Elsie Silver. This is also a 4.25 stars, which I was not expecting in the slightest. This one I went into with very low expectations. I feel like everyone, when this book was about to come out, before everyone read it, everyone was like, oh my god, Bo's book. Everyone was so excited. Everyone was like, this is going to be the best, and their expectations were so high that they weren't met, but my expectations were low because no one else said this book was good. But I think this is my favourite one in the series, which I was really not expecting. Did you follow Bo and Bailey? And Bailey basically has none of the best upbringing. Also hasn't got a very good reputation in the town that they live in Chestnut Springs because of her father and her brothers. They're like just not good people, drugs, alcohol, whatever. She's working in a bar and she's really trying to save up money. She wants to leave the town, she doesn't want to be there, but she can't get another job because no one will hire her because of her family. So she meets Bo, and Bo's like, well, if you just get engaged to me, if you think it's really to do with your name and your family, get engaged to me, then you're becoming an Eton and people will hire you. So they do. They get engaged. I usually don't like fake fiance. I think it's a bit too much, and usually I think this is why is because usually it's them trying to become CEO of a business, or it's them trying to take over something, and I just don't care about that. Like, I think in King of Sloth my issue was I just didn't care about him trying to take over the business and the logistics of all that. Like, I just move on. Like, I'm just not bothered. But this one, it was just so, they were just doing it because just to help her out, and I liked it a lot more. I don't like the whole business and takeover CEO and all that crap in a book. I felt like this book, it might actually be 4.5 stars. Like, I enjoyed it so much. The pacing, everything was so perfect in this book. I could feel the connection with the characters, the pacing, everything made sense. Like, everything was happening in such perfect timing. I love this book. Then I read My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney. This one I was so excited about. I seen someone talk about it and then they read the synopsis on the back and I was obsessed. Basically, he followed this woman, what's her name again? He followed this woman named Eden, and she goes on a run. They've just moved to a new town. They got a new house. She goes on her run, she comes back. The key's not fitting in the door. She's like, this is weird. Then she knocks and this woman answers. It looks kind of similar to her, and she's like, who are you? And she was like, I live here. And then she's like, no you don't, I live here. Husband shows up and she's like, who are you? To this woman that's supposed to be his wife outside the door. He's like, no, this is my wife. Who are you? And she's like, what's going on here? So that's kind of all I'm gonna say. It's so good. This really had me, I had whiplash reading this book. Like, I didn't know who to believe, didn't know what was going on, but like not in a bad way. It was just so crazy. Plot twist didn't get me. I was really caught off guard with everything in this book. I don't know if anyone would have been able to guess the plot twist. Let me know if you did, because it was so, I feel like, far out there that I couldn't, there was no way for me to guess the plot twist. But I gave this one a 4 stars. I love Alice Feeney's writing. She's one of my favourite thriller authors, so I read this so quick. Then I read Lotus by Jennifer Hartman. I was really in a romance mood after finishing Before I Let Go and Hopeless. There were such high ratings for me that I really was like, I need to get back into the romance, and I've had this on my shelf for so long, seen so many good things about it. It's about a boy named Oliver who goes missing when he's, I think, 8 years old, and now it is 22 years later. No one's seen him. Obviously he's been kidnapped, but there's been nothing about him. The case is pretty much gone cold, and it's 22 years later and he appears. He is found. And everyone's like, what happened to you? It's very interesting watching him come back, because obviously he was 8 when he was taken. He doesn't know anything, and like, the world evolves so much in 22 years that he doesn't know what anything is. It was crazy. There's also like stuff going on with Sydney. I definitely say look up trigger warnings for this if you're going into it. It does, I think, say in the front of the book. I'm not someone that usually looks at trigger warnings, but if you wanted to, definitely look them up for this book. I gave this one a 3.25 stars. I think the reason I didn't enjoy this as much as I thought I was, or give it a higher rating, was because I felt like I would rather have Oliver come back and him work through obviously everything that he's been through. He was just kidnapped for 22 years. But I felt like they kind of not jumped into a relationship, but it was like they were best friends when they were younger. They're next door neighbors, but it was more of kind of like he came back and then straight away they started kind of, the author was trying to build this romantic connection with them. But I would rather have them become friends first and then work through whatever he got through, and then have the romance happen. But I felt like the romance happened so quickly after he came back. But I was like, he's been gone. How does he, like, what? Like, it didn't make sense to me. So I definitely want to read more Jennifer Hartman books. I have Still Beating by her, and I also want to get, I think she's one called Older. So I definitely want to read more of her books. This one was a 3.25. I'm actually going to talk about the two of these. I read a book in between these, but I'm going to talk about them together because that makes more sense to me. It's Truly Devious and The Vanishing Stair by Maureen Johnson. Truly Devious I gave 3 stars, and then The Vanishing Stair I gave 4 stars, no, 3.5. I just can't read. This series you follow Stevie Bell, and she is asked to come to, I think it's called Ellingham, I'm not too sure, academy, where like it's a very small school. You have to be selected to get in. I think she writes to them and then they're like, yeah, you can come in. She's really interested in the case that happened there in 1936. So she wants to solve that murder because she thinks that what happened, the person that got convicted, basically she thinks that's not who actually did the murder. So, but then you also get the past chapters of 1936, and like it really jumps back and forth, and they do give you the time and the date, but like you're not going to go back and be like, oh, was this before or after the last chapter? But you kind of get clued and you kind of you just read it for what it is and you kind of know what part of the story of that bit you're in. I didn't know getting into this that this is I knew it was a trilogy, but I thought it was going to be like a Good Girl's Guide to Murder, where it was like a different murder each book, or a different like plots happening. No, it's the same plot for all three. I'm currently actually reading the third book in this series, so I've read them all pretty much back to back because you have to continue to get the full story, which I didn't know getting into this. So I was reading Truly Devious, that's why my rating was 3 stars for this one. I was 50% through the book, maybe 60%, maybe 70%, and there was still nothing happening. I was like, what? Nothing's happening here. How are we going to wrap this up at the end of the book? And then I did go to the last page, and it did say to be continued, and I said, oh, that's why we're getting nowhere, because I have to read the next book, which is a bit annoying for me. And then I also did spoil it for myself, because for some reason I had like 80 pages of this one left, and I went, let me just grab the next book. Why? Don't know. And I read the back, and then obviously on the back it had said something that was on the end of this book, and so I went into this one. So when the plot twist happened, basically, not even a big plot twist, it was kind of like a plot twist, but like with the most irrelevant character in the whole book, so no one really even cares about the plot twist. But so when I got to the end of this, I'd already spoiled it, but whatever. It was good. This one's 3.5. This one you jump straight into the story. I think that's why I liked it better. We already knew all the characters, we knew the setting, we knew, you know, a lot about the murders that already happened, so it was easier to get into. And I'm on the third one, which I don't have many thoughts on that one yet. So, but yes, 3 stars, 3.5 stars. Would recommend actually, but just know it's a trilogy when you're getting into it. Then in between those two books, I read Collided by Lauren Asher, the second book in the Dirty Air series. This one I rated a 3 star, which I think is my lowest rated Lauren Asher book. I think this is definitely my least favorite anyway, and I'm pretty sure everything else has been like a 3.5 and above, so not my favorite. This one also Sophie and Liam. This is the F1 romance. She is a daughter of I think the person over their rival team, I'm not too sure. It's the team that Noah was in. Her father is basically high up there somewhere, I don't really know. So she is accompanying him for quite a while to just follow him around and go traveling, whatever. So she meets Liam, who is on not her dad's team, the rival team. Okay, I don't know why I'm finding this so hard to explain. She has this list called the fuck it list, where she wants to take it off, you know, everything on the list. Liam finds this list and he's like, let me help you, let me take these off, and she's like, no, I can't do that, that's not happening. And then, you know, obviously he does help her with the list. I knew getting into this was kind of a spicier book. I knew this was people's least favorite in the series. I didn't go in with the highest expectations of this one. I went into this one more of a spicy romance, not a lot of depth to the characters. I weren't going to care about the characters after the book, and that's exactly what I got. So 3 stars was exactly what I was expecting. And they are all the books that I read and finished in March. I'm in the middle of 2 more books. I'm in the middle of The Hand on the Wall, which is the third book in the Truly Devious trilogy, and then I'm like 100 pages into Out on the Limb by Hannah Bodum. I won't finish those 2 by the end of the month. It's March 30th right now, so I have today and tomorrow basically. But tomorrow I'm starting a new book, which I don't know if I'm going to read that whole book on one day. I could see it happening, but I'm not too sure. But if I do, it's in a reading vlog. I'm starting a reading vlog tomorrow, so that is in that reading vlog. But they're all the books I read in March. I had such a good reading month. I'm so happy with how many books I read and how many books I got off the physical TBR, because I think almost all of these, maybe they all actually have been on my physical TBR for quite a while. So it was nice to kind of take off a bunch of books from, I have a reading journal, so it was nice to kind of, I have a TBR, 2025 TBR, like the books that I brought over from 2025 on my TBR, and being able to colour them in every time I finish one has been so satisfying. But I'm going to go now because they're all the books and stop talking, and I will see you so soon in the next one.